In this video, I'm going to step through the process of 3D modeling, unwrapping, and preparing a treasure chest model meant for using in games. While I won't go through the process of texturing it, I am preparing it to be textured in Substance Painter. So let's begin. I want to approach this from a more efficient way than I've been doing my other videos. So there are two things that I'm going to do a little bit differently that I kind of want to emphasize in this video. The first one is going to be unwrapping it as I model it. The second one is utilizing the mirror modifier so that I only have to model and unwrap half of the model. So I'm going to begin by first creating a primitive that's close in shape to what my final model is going to be. So let me use a cube. The width is probably going to be, let's say 100, a height of 50, and a depth of 50. This looks like a pretty good size for me to begin with this. Like I mentioned, I do want to use symmetry as I model this, so I only need half of this. There's a lot of different ways that we could approach this. I could just move this polygon to center and delete it. Like that is one method to do this. What if though I had forgotten and I kind of started modeling and I realized halfway, oh no, I want to actually use the symmetry modifier. Or you think you don't need to do it, but you're realizing this is going to be much more complicated than you originally thought, and you want to suddenly be able to use the mirror modifier. We could always slice this in half. Since this is built symmetrically, it is right at the origin. This is pretty easy just to go ahead, select all of those edges, do a connect right in the center, and then I can just select the polys on this side. Oops, I didn't go all the way through. Let me fix that real quick. I think I have, oops, camera-based selection is on. Let me turn that off. Sorry about that. There we go, that's better. We'll connect that up. I'll select those faces and delete them. So whatever method you need to just get rid of half of it. And now I can worry about just modeling half the treasure chest. First things first, like I mentioned, I want to unwrap as I go. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to use an automatic unwrap on this. It's such a simple model. I just need to kind of pull it apart for now. Not too concerned about anything else other than starting to break this up into individual pieces. Since it is such a simple model, doing an automatic unwrap makes the most sense to do this step. Okay. This is going to be kind of like, think of a stereotypical pirate treasure chest with kind of the arched top and, the metal kind of going around it. So let's start getting that shape. I need to put some edge loops in. So I'm going to select all the way around. I'm going to do a connect. I'm going to up these segments to, I think, like 4. Sorry, it's really, I hear coyotes outside. It's a little weird. I don't think they're coming in through the video. 4, that looks good to me. Oops, I deselected, let's see. There we go. So this should give me enough shape to get that top looking the right way. So I'm just going to grab these and start shaping this. Oops, I have step turned on. There we go. Oh, we'll stay. Let me pull this one up a little bit. There we go. All right, first thing, I'm going to go back to this unwrap. I'm going to select my stuff, and I can do a quick unfold optimize. And that's all I need to do. I'm just kind of updating my unwrap as I go. And as you can see, it's only like a few seconds here and there where I need to go and tweak that. Let's add a band around the center, kind of where it would open. You know, this kind of treasure chest would usually have some kind of like metallic, you know, metal kind of like folded in and up around the opening. So let's go ahead and add that. Multiple ways we could do this. I could, let's see, let's do it this way. I'm going to use my insert edge loop, and I'm going to kind of just click where I want those. Notice putting the insert edge loop in did make it arched over here. It's not really the look we want to go for. To fix this, I'm just going to select that edge all the way around, get my scale tool, and if I pull down on that to basically scale it into nothing, it will straighten this out for me. And then I'm free to kind of position this where I want it, maybe at 40. I'll then insert another edge loop, maybe here. I think I want this one up a little higher. Let's make it closer to here. 42 sounds good. This one can go maybe there. Let's do 37. I'm then going to select these faces. We can extrude these. Let's go the other way. I don't need an offset though. Let's do that. That looks good. And before I go any further, I want to make sure I am fixing my unwrap. I don't want to deselect. What I want to do is I want to select all of the metal on here. I almost have it all selected because I have this first band. I just need to select that top and bottom all the way around. The easiest way to do this is going to be to expand my selection. I can just go to select, grow, and it'll expand my selection by 1 polygon, which means I now have the whole band selected. Back over in my unwrap, oops, didn't mean to do that. I'm just going to then detach these as their own UV shells, which is, if you remember under cut sew, it's this create UV shell, aka Control Shift X. So I'm just going to Control Shift X those over here. While I'm at it, I can do a quick unfold optimize on those, and these are now my metal pieces. I'm trying to make sure I'm keeping my metal and my wood kind of separate. It'll make my unwrapping at the end a little bit easier. Let me do an unfold optimize on these. They are getting a little crooked. Their textile density is a little bit mismatched, but I'm still modeling. I'm not too concerned at this point. I'm just mostly worried about keeping these together and kind of, in our little pieces. And then at the end, I'm going to worry about normalizing all of these. All right, unwrapping is done for now. Let's add in the little crease in the middle of this so that it actually looks like it has a way to open and close. I think this time though, since I do want it directly in the middle, I'm going to just select the ring around, all the way around. I'm going to do a connect. This way I can just have one segment. And then I'm just going to bevel this. You could do a connect and just do 2 segments and pinch it if you wanted to. It's kind of up to your preference on how you want to approach things. I kind of like to add the one and then bevel it myself. I feel like it's a little bit easier to control the size of this. That's probably good. Next, I'm going to go around and select, oops, not you, all the way around so that I can then extrude this inwards to get that look of not -3, probably like a -1 maybe, or -0.5. There we go. a little bit more, negative 0.75. That should be good. It gives it that look of there's like an opening. Again, very quickly, gonna unfold, optimize those to get those unwraps, but we are getting a little bit of grossness kind of on the end. All of that extruding created these triangles or these polys on the end that we don't actually need. So I should take the opportunity to go ahead and clean these up. Like I don't need those. I don't need these. I'll have to straighten this out too. Do you see how it's kind of, these are kind of wonky? I know that these need to be right on the origin, so what I can do is do that scale trick and then move them back to 0 on the X. Same thing over here, it's got all messy. Let's delete out these faces, since this would be where it's mirrored into it. We don't actually need those. Select those vertices. I'm going to scale them to straighten them and then move them back to 0. All right. I'll probably tweak these. There we go. That looks better. All right. We have the basic shape down. Now what we probably would want to do is start thinking about adding some details. For instance, I think it would look better if along this edge it had like a metal like ridge to it too, like kind of metal along the edges. So I could go about this two ways. Probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert an edge loop here, all the way around. Let's see, we'll put that at maybe negative 48. Is that too thick? I'll do negative 49. That looks better. We'll need to get it kind of on the inside in here too. So what I can do is I'm going to, well, there's a couple ways we could do this. We'll do it this way. I'm going to insert an edge loop here too. I'm going to insert an edge loop here. And then we need to cut along here. So let's see. Can I just insert it? Will it be nice? Yes, let's do that. I'm going to have to manually fix this position though. It's not perfect, but I can easily grab, the Y is at 58.6. I know that this one should be at 57.6 because it should just be one lower. I want it one lower. No, we'll do it 56.6. That looks better. 62.23. So this should be at 60.23. This is going to be the same. This will be the same over here since it is even. Something like that. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to do the opposite of what I did before. I don't want to extrude these out. I'm going to extrude this inwards a little bit. So I'm going to select this and I'm just going to hold shift and extrude it inwards. Just a little. And then the same for this face. I'm going to remember to delete this out on this side. I have to extrude this one in too. delete that out. I will also need to do this one all the way around, but let me add that edge loop in. Needs to be at 2, so let me fix that. I'll bump this in. Put this. Extrude this one inwards. Oops. Then extrude this one inwards. There we go. And it's coming along. Oop, I do need to extrude the top too. Can't forget that. So I'm going to select those and just very slightly bump it down. And delete these extras. There we go. All right, let's spend a little bit of time now cleaning up this unwrap, since we did make a lot of major changes. Again, the big things I want to do are keep like materials together. So for instance, I know this is going to be all metal. So I want to make sure that I also get, all of those extra little polys that I just extruded that are going to be metal with it. So I'm going to select all of those. I'm just selecting the UV islands, and I can expand my selection, edit, select, grow, and let's see, I'm going to deselect these for now. I don't want to mess with those. Oops, deselecting too much. Oops, sorry. I need to turn it back to face select. That would help. So I got that and the corresponding little extra faces. So I'm going to hit Control-Shift-X. These need to get fixed. They're going to not be happy trying to connect those up. So I'm going to do a quick automatic unwrap on just those. I don't want to mess with those. Let's do an automatic just to pull them apart. Then I can go ahead and I can start welding these back together. So I'm just going to select it, right click, do cut, sew, move and sew. It is going to get a little bit weird, and that's fine. Once you do the move and sew once, you can hit just G on the keyboard, and that will do like an automatic redo the last move that you did kind of a thing. It will significantly speed this up. Okay. Those, who are you? You belong to over here. And once I kind of get these re-welded, I can then start selecting them and just do an unfold optimize. And they'll quickly kind of pop back to the position. That's why I didn't want to do a full re-unwrap. I didn't want to just break them apart again and try to do that, because I can just start stitching these back together and it's going to be a lot faster. There we go. That's these pieces. I do need to get the new ones though. So I think for this project though, I'm going to just delete the bottom. We're going to pretend that this treasure chest is always going to be sitting on the bottom. You know, always sitting, it's never going to get knocked over. So for the sake of time too, I'm just going to delete those bottom polys. We're going to pretend we don't need them. Chest is never going to be flipped over during the game, so no reason to show them. Okay, let's start selecting these faces. Actually, you know what? It's going to be faster to do this. Watch. I'm going to just select the wood. Because that's all the wood pieces. Control Shift X to detach those and move them out of the way. So everything I have left now is going to be a metal. I do want to straighten these out kind of like bars, like we've been working with. So I can just grab, you know, across here. And I'm just breaking these pieces off to straighten these. There you go. Let's work on some of these. I'm just going to do an unfold optimize. We'll deal with this thing in a minute. So these are fine. Well, we can talk about this one in a second. We'll work on these. Detach. Detach. This is still a lot faster than starting from scratch, like if we had not been unwrapping as we went. And let's see what we get. Let's try save real quick. Fold, optimize. Okay. I believe this goes with this. These two go together. Who are you? Why are you by yourself? Oh. This should probably just go. Oh, these didn't get it. What? I guess these didn't get, because these are still attached for some reason. Let me break that off. Reattach that. There we go. Unwrapping, it's fine if it's not perfect the first time. Let's move these further. There we go. Is that it now? Where are you? Looks like it's having a problem. If you ever have problems like that, you could just usually do an automatic on it and it'll reappear. Sometimes if it's perfectly flat, it has issues. There we go. Let's see where we're at. Okay, I think I got it all. Let's, I'm going to combine these back together. So move and sew. There we go. And I think that's it. I think we got all the metal. Let's move this over here. Let's do a quick unfold optimize just to make sure we're still good with that. Okay. We're still fully unwrapped. It's not packed, but it's unwrapped. That's kind of a helpful thing for us. Let's add some bevels. It's kind of really sharp right now. Adding some bevels will kind of make this feel a little bit more realistic. So I'm going to go ahead and bevel at least a lot of these edges. So I'm going to just start finding these. Oops, do that. I think I'll do this one too. I can, no, I'll wait and do, no, I'll go through and do those. Let's bevel those edges. Since I'm doing a lot of beveling, I'm kind of trying to do a lot at once, just so it'll I'll treat some things a little bit nicer. You'll see. Excuse me. That's good. All right. Bevel. Yeah, I think I selected some I shouldn't. Do you see how it's getting kind of weird? If you do that, just undo to your selection and deselect some things. Like I think I want to deselect these ones. I think these are a little bit too harsh. Okay. Let's see what that looks like now. Let's do a bevel. Yeah, I like how that's going. We shouldn't really, for something like this where we're just kind of smoothing the corners, again, don't bump up your segments. It's not really needed, since we can just smooth edge these. And there we go. If we ever need to fix that real quick, we can always quickly go back here. I'm going to bump this smoothing angle. No, smooth up to 40. Let's see what that looks like. Up a little higher, maybe 50. There we go. Not too bad. The nice thing too, we don't have to unwrap that bevel. Since we already took the time to unwrap all those pieces, the bevel kind of automatically goes into there. We might need to do a quick unfold optimize on those pieces, but we're not trying to unwrap bevels. There we go. Last, I want to add a couple rivets to this, and then I think we'll call it a day. So let's do this by, we don't want to extrude them out. We're going to actually create them separately by starting out with a sphere. Way too high for our stuff, so let's go and make adjustments to this. The radius is probably going to be 0.5. This can drop down significantly to, let's try an 8 and maybe a 5. Let's see. I only need half of it. Yeah, we'll do that. I don't need this bottom stuff. And let's make sure it's nice and smooth. And before we do anything else, let's also unwrap it. So let me go to the UV editor. It's pretty ugly right now. For something like this, we can usually get away, it's so small, we can usually get away with just doing a planar map on it, like this, and then doing an unfold optimize. It's a little stretched, but these are so small that it's going to be minimal. I would rather have a really easy single shelled UV space to work with than worry that there's a little bit of stretching going on the side. Because remember, this is only, you know, the radius is 0.5 centimeter. It's only 1 centimeter large, so we really won't notice that sort of stretching. It's kind of worth it. So let me rotate this, and we can start placing these. It is important that we unwrap it before we do placement, so that we're not unwrapping after the fact. Like, I wouldn't want to unwrap a whole bunch of rivets after I have placed them. So we'll put one here. Look at this. I'm trying to make it look like it's connecting this metal piece to that metal piece. So let's see. Negative 49. That's good. 40.5. Maybe 6. Nope, didn't too far. Let's pull it back up. That's good. I'm just going to hit Control D to duplicate it. Move it down. And we can kind of place these wherever we want to. I don't want to go crazy. They do still have, if we select one, they're 40 tries each. So it's important to kind of keep that in mind if you are trying to make like a 3D model for a game. Like, how much are you contributing to the polygon count? Let's go -5, -15. -25, -35, and we'll do one more. -45. All right. We do need to put them on the other side for it to make sense. So the first thing I'm actually going to do is I'm going to, well, let me duplicate one of these. Move it out of the way. I'm going to merge these together. I'm going to make sure that its pivot position is at the world origin. I'm then going to select all those and delete its history. So I just have this one, and watch this. So this isn't the mirror modifier yet. It's just kind of an easy trick that you can do to kind of help sometimes with doing stuff. I have this whole row. It is at the origin. It's like right in the middle, so the pivot's right there. You see that? I'm going to duplicate this. Then I'm going to actually scale it on the, let's see, the z-axis. I'm going to set the z-axis from 1 to -1. And this kind of does sort of like a really quick scale. Only issue, sometimes we run into some problems. You see how those are black now? These are white. It's because the normals got flipped. So we would have to come into here, select all those faces, do a mesh display, and do an invert. Oh, reverse, there it is. So it's a little bit of a messier way to do that if you're trying to do things a little bit quicker, but I really didn't want to have to place those all again. Let's get this now placed on this side. Let's rotate this. Oh, there we go. See, we can position this maybe there. We'll bump it back up. There we go. Duplicate that, push it down. Then we'll duplicate these around. Have at least one set at the negative. We'll do one right in the center. Then we'll do at 10. -10, -20, and that looks good. So just for the sake of time, we're going to say that this is going to be done, and it's time to start packing this together. I could go in and like build a lock and build, probably add some more rivets, but I think you've probably gotten a good idea of how to do this. If you wanted to go through and do more of that on your own, that'd be you know, something you could practice with. But let's start to get this together and prepare it to symmetry. First, let's do a little bit of cleanup. I'm going to actually just merge all of these together real quick. Clean this up. They are a whole bunch of these little things. Let's see. I'm just going to make sure they're kind of moved out of the way. I can do a quick optimize. That's kind of weird. Hold on. I should have done that. Let's try this again. Let me freeze my transform on those and clear the history. Let's see. What is going on? That is very strange. Oh, I know. It's because some of those got flipped. These back ones. Let me just. Do you remember how I mirrored them? One of the downsides of the method that I did do is that the UVs get really weird. Well, not weird, but they get flipped, and that's why it was behaving like that. So I just selected those. I can just do a quick flip. And I should have fixed that problem. Yeah, they're just kind of spreading out now. That looks a little bit better though. We're going to just kind of keep these in their own thing kind of over here for now. But they're good to go. There's nothing strange going on with those. This one, it's still a little bit messy, but we can start to clean these up. So remember, we want to kind of keep the wood and we want to keep the metal together. What I want to do though is I want to make my life easier. I don't want to have to deal with, I'm thinking when I start going into Substance Painter, I don't want to have to deal with trying to make the wood grain fit in weird kind of angles. So I am going to kind of straighten out some of these, and I'm going to start to make sure that the wood grain on these is going to go in the direction that I would want them, like, you know, kind of the same. So wood grain should be going this way, and this would be the top. I would want the wood grain going that way too. So I'm going to kind of start straightening these out. Straighten those out. And if I want to start normalizing these, I'm going to just pick one and get its textile density, and then just set these all to that textile density. So the wood is ready to go. That was easy. Let's kind of keep these over here. We got to straighten these out. Just make sure it's all optimized. We can also set its textile density to be the same as the wood. Let's orient these shells and start to kind of stack them a little bit. These all need to get flipped, or rotated, I guess. And we'll kind of stack them nicely up here. All right, before we can symmetry them, we do need to attach the rivets to the chest. So I'm going to select both of them. I'm going to double check that my combine is going to put the pivot at the world origin, and I'm going to hit apply. So now if I go to that unwrap, I have all my weird rivets up here. Okay, let's set the textile density correctly. So I'm going to select those. I'm going to set it. And they're kind of spread all out. Let me do a quick layout on these to kind of just get this. I don't want them to scale though. Oops, I should have saved that before I clicked that button. I hope I didn't crash it by accident. We'll let it sit. There we go. It did change their textile density. That's fine. I thought it would have been okay, but I can easily change that back. I just kind of wanted to get them a little bit closer than being spread all over the place, so I'm going to reset those. We can kind of keep them over there. Okay, so we got our wood, we got our metal, and we got our rivets. So now we are finally ready to mirror this. So before I do that, I'm going to make sure that I delete all the history. I freeze its transform, I save, and then I'm going to turn the mirror modifier on, which is underneath mesh, mirror. This might take a little bit of tweaking. So if you do it and you see this, don't go, oh no, what's wrong? Let's look at some settings. The first one that you might need to change is the axis. Are we doing an x-axis mirror? Are we doing a y-axis mirror? Are we doing a z-axis mirror? It actually is the x, even though it currently looks wrong. If you think you're on the correct axis, but it's doing this kind of a thing, check your direction. You might have to switch it to the other one. And if it's doing a weird sort of stretch, I need to lower my merge threshold down to 1. Because it's trying to, like, if it's up too high, it tries to merge weird vertices together when it probably shouldn't. So if it's, that can fix that. We can, mess with those. But the last important one that we want to do is to flip our UVs. Remember that problem we had with mirror flipping, using the scale to flip those rivets, turn them inside out, and the UVs are all messed up? This will fix that problem for this. So if we flip those, our UVs on that mirrored part will be going the correct way. So if we're good to go, we have our treasure chest. We can finally finish our unwrap, but we're in a much better spot now than we were when we first started. I'd much rather start from here at this point than trying to fully unwrap this thing. That would take a really long time. So let me delete its history, and we need to finalize some things. The main thing we have to do is anywhere where it was kind of flipped is we probably want to, merge this together. We don't really need, especially if we're doing like wood grain and stuff like that, we don't want this face and this face to be two unique islands. We kind of need to make sure that we come in and do some cutting and well, not any cutting, but we need to come in and do some sewing. So, pick an area, just do cut, sew, move and sew, and we're just kind of going to go through and do all of this fun sewing. But the G key is kind of key to this, where it will make things go a lot faster. Do we do this one? We did this one, so we did that. We do have to do the metal pieces too. It would be a good idea. Let's see. If we need to, we can always select them here and then hit G if you've already done your even sew once. Sometimes these are hard to find. Okay, got that piece. Let's get this merged back. That, I got that one. Where's that one? And let's do this one. We'll do this one. There you are. We don't want to keep these minuscule little cuts like that. It leaves possibly the potential of having, you know, seams, visible seams on our textures. And down here. The good news too is if we did this correctly and we got them all sewed back up, we don't actually need the seam down the center. Get them all? I think so. What we can do once we stitch them is we can select this whole thing. Oop, I think I missed one. What's going on here? Oh, I don't need you. It's weird. Another stray. Where did these come from? That's so strange. Let's try that. There we go. You find interesting things when you start poking. Oh, this needs to be merged. Cut sew. I don't know where these random ones came from, but they're easy to delete. Almost there. There we go. Okay. I can just delete those. Cut down on some polys. I might want to clean up, like this is my last chance to kind of look at some things. I kind of see, I don't really need these to be separated right here. It would probably actually look better if this was like one solid metal piece. So I'm going to take the opportunity to stitch that back. Anytime I can, you know, get rid of UV islands and get them merged together is going to help me out. Oops, come on. Same thing along here. Like this doesn't need to be. And this is a lot easier to do than it would be if I was trying to just unwrap this from scratch. I can just sit here and kind of eyeball things. Those are cut for a reason. Let's merge this together. That's probably good. All right, let's start, oops. Let's start packing these up. Oh, come on. And what I want to do is I'm going to first do a automatic layout, but I might come in and tweak it afterwards. So I'm going to select everything, you know, delete my history, freeze my transforms, all that fun stuff. I'm going to make sure the textile density is set. And then I'm going to come down here to layout, but I'm going to hold shift and click layout. I want to set a couple of things. The first thing I want to set is I want to make sure that I have pre-scaling turned on. I don't really want to rotate my shells either. If I did, I'd probably turn it on and change the rotation step to maybe 90 degrees to make it easy, because, you know, I'm dealing with wood grain. I want kind of the metal to also go probably in the similar directions. I don't want them to get really skewed in a bizarre way. 90 degrees would be easy to deal with in Substance Painter, so that wouldn't be too bad, but I'm going to just turn it off. Make sure I have shell padding, all that fun stuff, and hit apply. And it packs it in pretty okay. I do want to do a little bit of cleanup though. One of the things I want to do is I want to make sure that I'm kind of keeping like things together. I see that some of my wood pieces got kind of jumbled up with my metal pieces, and it's not the end of the world, but I could make my life a lot easier if I just kind of do a little bit of rearranging. So first, will this fit down here? No, not quite. First, let's do this. Will you fit down here? No, not quite. So I think I might make the judgment call, and I'm going to rotate these pieces. Even though I will have to deal with those in Substance Painter later, that's fine. But I want to be able to fit these a little bit better. And doing this rotation will give me a, you know, I want to use up as much UV space as possible. So let's move this metal out of the way. And we can stack the wood here. So this is all my wood. These are rotated, but it's not the end of the world. I can always deal with that in Substance Painter since it's at a nice 90-degree angle. I can then start stacking my metal, which, you know, honestly, I think it's going to fit better rotated this way. I think I'll be able to fit it nicer. So a little bit crooked. Let's see. There we go. And we will put these. So let's put this like this. It's a little bit of a squishing game, and that's fine. We want to use up as much of this as we can. And I think before I go too far, I think I'm going to try to scale this up to take a little bit more space. I think I can get it to fit. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select this. I'm going to get my scale tool. Underneath transform, I'm going to put the pivot in the bottom left corner. I'm going to uniformly scale everything up just a little bit. Those little tiny scales, you know, it seems like not a lot, but it can, you know, make a difference sometimes. Let's get these to fit now. What does this belong to? Why is this kind of its own thing? Hold on. Okay, it's that side. Oh, I lost one. There we go. Let's get these in here. I can squish this up a little bit more. It needs breathing room, but We're going to put all these little rivets over here. Let's try to rotate these, see if we can get these to fit. Also double checking that I didn't accidentally, yeah, see, I missed a stitch. This could be stitched back up. Anytime we can stitch these back up, it takes up less space. I thought I got this, I must have missed it. Go. These must be a missed stitch too. Let's see. Yep, there we go. Now these can fit in better. You know, I can just put these over here. Let's move these rivets over. And it's fine that those rivets are small. Don't feel obligated to like, oh, they're so small, I should scale them up. Remember that we need to keep our textile density consistent, so it's fine that they're that small. Switch these. These last little rivets over. And we are good to go. We have our unwrap. I don't think we can get much tighter than that. If I did have other details, like I had gone ahead and modeled like a lock and some hinges, they probably would have fit into this space. But this looks good. We are ready for the next step. I'm going to make the next part into its own video since this is getting pretty long, and the next video is going to deal with using ID maps and how to do vertex color on your 3D model. It's going to be a much shorter video, and since it's that very specific thing, I do want to split it up into its own thing. So hopefully you found this helpful, and I will see you in the next video.